We're just excited about all the program success.
And we're ready to get started. Thanks, Zach. Go Cards.
For Wheeling University Athletics, I'm Zach Ziegler. It's time for another edition of the Chris Richardson Show. Currently joined by Wheeling University head men's basketball coach Chris Richardson. And Chris, two hard-fought games for you guys this week against Fairmont State and Frostburg State. Unfortunately, not on the winning side of either of those. Talk about this past week and kind of what you saw.
Yeah, I thought we really fought on Wednesday night against Fairmont, who's, they came into the game, I think, 11th nationally and playing really well. And we couldn't make shots, man. We had wide open looks early in the game, great looks for good shooters, guys that put the time in and spend time in the gym, and we just didn't make them. And that's part of the game. It's a make-miss game. And then late, we got the stops we needed, but we didn't get the rebounds. And so, your job's not finished defensively until you secure that rebound. And rebounding's been a forte of ours for most of the season, and unfortunately, it abandoned us at the worst possible time against Fairmont. And so gave up some big offensive rebounds late and had some bad possessions offensively late. But just really liked the way we fought and took the fight to them. We talked about that, They really took the fight to us at their place and had us on our heels. And there was none of that on Wednesday night. And then Saturday, we played really bad. We started off the game okay and then got careless with the ball, both in terms of turning it over and taking bad shots, and that affects everything. When you take bad shots, it gets you beat quicker than anything else. It affects your transition defense. It affects your next possessions offensively. One guy might take a bad shot, and then the next guy, well, I'm going to take a bad shot now. And so we just kind of lost our way a little bit at Frostburg. But we got back Saturday night and took Sunday off, and last night in film, before practice, there was a lot of accountability, and guys were open to being coached, and we had a tremendous practice Monday night. And so this team's responded all year to when things don't go their way. They pick up the pieces and get right back to it, and that's what we did last night. That's what we're going to do this week.
And having that ability to respond, like you said, having the great practice last night, what confidence does that give you as a coach that they're going to bounce back again this week with two more heavy games coming up?
Yeah, it just speaks to our maturity as a team, our locker room leadership. Will Gabbert, Sean Ely, our two seniors. Alex Smith has a big voice in the locker room. Those guys, really speaking up. And then some of our younger guys, they've grown, in their voice as well throughout the year and not being afraid to speak up. And so there's just you want to see that as a coach. If the coach is the only person holding everyone accountable, you're going to have a ceiling. But when the players hold each other accountable and demand more of themselves, then you can get through the toughest of times. And it's a life lesson. When things don't go your way, you got to respond, and that is life. Like, you and I are adults. We know that things are not going to go your way, and it's how you respond that determines how you get through them and what happens next. And so really like the way we've responded, and looking forward to another good practice this afternoon.
And one of the bright spots in that Frostburg State game was T. Harris, puts up 19 points, I believe a season high for him. Talk about what kind of was working for him and how he kind of got back on track. Yeah,
he played hard. He was really active in transition. He was active around the basket. We've tried to get him to be more aggressive driving the ball, and he was. And so it's good. T's been playing well the last couple weeks and getting his confidence back, and kind of been. And this happens. To a young player, which he still is. He's played a lot for us over 2 years, but he's still a young player. And, he's responded well to coaching and watching a lot of extra film with our staff and putting extra time in. And I think he's going to continue to play really well because of that.
And you've had a lot of depth coming off your bench this year with helping him in with those subbing with starters with Curtis Harrison, Caleb Murray. Talk about the bench depth and kind of what you've seen there.
Yeah, we can play a lot of different ways. We've played small for a lot of the year, but we can play big too. We can make people match us, or we can try to match up with people, depending on what they're doing that gives us trouble. So just our versatility, and the best part about that is guys that understand that we got to do what it takes to win on that given night. And from night to night, that may be a little bit different. And so they've bought into that. Jalen Jackson didn't play at all against Fairmont, and then he responded. I thought he played really well on Saturday against Frostburg. He was a bright spot. He's very vocal, always gives us great energy defensively. And so, he did that, but he's not the first guy that's done that this year. Some of our older guys have done that as well, where they didn't play or played very little and then came back out the next day in practice or the next game and really responded to their time. And so that's what gives me a lot of excitement and optimism about this team as we get down to the last 2 weeks of the regular season and going into the Mountain East Conference tournament in downtown Wheeling. So, we're going to continue to respond. We're going to continue to work, and I know the guys will be ready, whatever is required of them that night. I know that we got a group of guys that are willing to do it.
Currently joined by Wheeling University head men's basketball coach Chris Richardson. And Chris, tomorrow night before your Concord game, you're having a special event with Soul Bros, the charity of Curtis Harrison, who's on your team. Talk about the event and kind of what fans can expect.
Yeah, I was walking on a beach in Florida talking to Kurt Harrison during the recruiting process. I was on the phone with him, and I said, "Tell me something unique." And he brought up this charity, and boy, what a story! You did a great job putting that video out with him. The interview, he kind of told the story, and everybody should go watch that. But him and his friends deciding at 15 years old, we want to help people that don't have what we have, and so. The shoe culture in basketball is it's kind of intersected with basketball culture. It's a very big part of the game, and so I think it's very unique and very authentic, and kind of a very outside the box way to help people is let's collect some gently used sneakers, or dress shoes or whatever you have and bring them out, and we'll help people that need them, and that's all Kurt. Kurt's the one that started that. All we said is, hey, I think it'd be cool to do a game, where people can bring that. So hopefully we get a good response for it. And he's just such a good person. There's no other way to put it. I said last week how happy guys were for him when he played well because of what a good teammate he is. He's an even better person than he is a teammate. And so really proud of him for spearheading this and looking forward to having a really successful shoe drive tomorrow night.
And you got 2 tough games coming up. We mentioned first Concord here on Wednesday. Then you go to Glenville State on Saturday. As you guys go down this playoff stretch, talk about this week and kind of the matchups.
Yeah. No nights off in the Mountain East, right? And as I've said all year, Wheeling's not a night off either. And so Concord playing really well. They've won 8 in a row. Colin Tolbert, their point guard. I think if you took a straw poll right now of conference coaches, he'd probably be the player of the year. In a couple of weeks, wouldn't surprise me to see that, that award given to him. He's had a terrific year. Had a 58-point game, couple 40-point games. He can pass, he can shoot, he does it all. So he's really good, and we're going to have our hands full with him. It all starts with him. But then talk about a team that's versatile. We just talked ad nauseum about their guard. They got one of the better post players in the league in Renee Diop. They can throw it inside. They can score close. They can score in transition. They can score in the half court. And then defensively, they're always very, very stout, very tough, difficult to score against. So we got our hands full with Concord. But I know our guys understand that we're much better than we played in the second half at Concord. And we need to have a better 40-minute effort tomorrow night in order to come out with the win. And then Saturday at Glenville, another team that beat us here that we got to go try to find a way to get one on the road. And they're playing well, too. They've won 5 or 6 in a row, I think, themselves. And so that's kind of how the week sets up for us. We get to play 2 of the hottest teams in the league, which, as we always say, good, right? So just another week in the Mountain East. We're excited. I know the shoe drive will get some people out tomorrow night. Hope to have a great atmosphere in the McDonough Center for the women's game and the men's game. And let's keep battling.
And finally, as you go through these last 2 weeks of the regular season preparing for the MEC tournament, what are you guys working on to get ready for postseason play and be at your best at West Banco?
We got to see the ball go in the basket. And, when we broke it down, our shot prep wasn't great. Guys standing straight up. You got to be ready to shoot. You can't get ready to shoot after you catch the ball. That's too late. And so being earlier and more intentional with our shot prep, being more on time and on target with our passes, and, just working on some of the little things, the fundamentals, getting guys open, cutting harder. We worked a lot last night on cutting and moving without the ball. And so, just some of the little things. It's this time of year, it's hard to really go 2.5 hours out there on the practice court. You got to be a little bit more efficient and focused. But you also need to touch back on the fundamentals. And so that's what we've been doing. And we're still going to game prep and work on scout and all that, just like we do for any opponent. But we got to continue to sharpen the saw ourselves, and so that's going to be the main focus this week.
Thanks, Chris. Good luck this week. Can't wait to see you out there.
Thanks, Zach. Go Cards.
For Wheeling University Athletics, I'm Zach Ziegler.
We're just excited about all the program success.
And we're ready to get started.
Thanks, Zach. Go Cards.